I'm gonna get started. I might have to reach over every once in a while just to admit people in, but this is one of my favorite things. That's why I have to do 2 classes with Thai food. So today's Thai food class, we're gonna do 2 kind of classic dishes. One being larb, which is ground meat with spices, and then the other one is papaya salad. And so hopefully I can show you some new ingredients that you've never seen before. And then I'll tell you where you can get them. You can actually get most of this at 99 Ranch, or even, I believe, most Zion markets or any of the Korean markets. So I'm gonna start. The first recipe we're gonna do is the chicken larb. And so chicken larb can be made with a whole bunch of stuff. So it can be made with pork, beef, or chicken, all of it ground though. And the way that you cook it is you actually cook it in broth. You don't saute it. So what I'm gonna show you is how you grind your own meat. I bought it pre-ground, but if you don't have it easily accessible, like pre-ground meat, you can go ahead and make your own. So the way you're gonna do it is you're gonna grab your food processor, and then I have chicken here. It's kind of frozen, but still kind of soft. So if you look, on the bottom, it's got a little bit of ice cubes, like ice still on it. It's not completely solid, but it's not completely defrosted either. The importance of that is it'll prevent it from pureeing. So I'm gonna cut them into chunks, so like little 1-inch chunks almost, and I'm gonna add it straight in there. You're gonna do more than that. I'm just gonna show you with this small amount. And then you're going to pulse. Oops. Just like that. And then you're left with this kind of ground meat. And that's how you grind meat at home. So as long as you can make sure that the meat is still kind of frozen, it'll prevent it from pureeing the meat, which is the last thing we want to do. So the other ingredients that go into this great chicken dish are these ingredients. We have shallots and garlic. So we're gonna chop those up, about half a cup of shallots, and then garlic, 3 cloves of garlic, some chili flakes or chili powder. If you can get the Thai stuff, obviously go for that, but chili flakes will do. Fish sauce. Let's talk about fish sauce. Today's fish sauce, I only use 1 brand. And the 1 brand I use is this. It is the 3 Crab brand. So if you want a good fish sauce, this is the one that I usually say. The Red Boat is decent, but this one I like the most. Your fish sauce gets stronger and stronger the more you leave it around. And so if you let it sit out, so if you haven't used your fish sauce in 3 years, the flavor has concentrated. So just make sure that when you're adding it, you add a little bit at a time and then add to taste. It has sugar in it too, so it covers a lot of different flavors. Palm sugar. So palm sugar looks like this. They come in discs almost, or different ways, but they're hard as a rock. And so they look like that, and I just use a grater. So I just use a grater and I grate it, and then I measure however much I want. If you don't have that, you just use brown sugar. Palm sugar is sweet. So if you don't want it to be too sweet, you can kind of pull back on that. Fresh lime juice, and so I squeeze that ahead of time, and then mint and cilantro, that is gonna be our garnish. And then the most important ingredient, roasted rice flour, or toasted flour. So if you've never had this before, this is what makes Thai dish a Thai dish, I find. It gives it great flavor, and you don't need to buy it. So all you need to do is grab a pan, and I've already got it here going. Push this back, or I'm gonna have to move it aside so you can see. I've got rice here. This is glutinous rice. So, and I've toasted it so that it's nice and brown almost. Just like that. I'm gonna take some and I'm gonna put it in my coffee grinder. I'm gonna take it and put it in my coffee grinder and grind it, and then you've got your own toasted rice powder ready to go. This will last a while, so don't worry about it going bad or anything. You can leave it in your pantry for a while, or you can grind it ahead of time. So I will get this to work. Remember, it will burn if you're not careful. So I've got this powder now ready to go. So when you're doing this on the stove, just make sure. It's very, very fragrant. So if you've ever had jasmine rice, this is jasmine glutinous rice. It's white in color. So when you buy the rice, make sure that it says sweet rice on it, first of all. So I use this sweet rice. The kernels are almost opaque. They are not like, it does not look like regular rice. And so this is the color of the stuff I bought, and this is the color of the stuff that I made. So you can go a little bit darker in color if you want to get that nice toastiness. So let's start making this dish. It's got to be the world's easiest thing to make. I'm gonna turn this on. I've got stock ready in there. And I'm literally not even gonna wait for it to boil. I'm gonna put my ground meat, which is, this is ground chicken. I'm gonna add it in there. If you've ever made like bolognese sauce or any kind of sauce that requires ground meat and you feel like it clumps together, the trick to that is to actually add water. It'll take longer for you to brown it later on, but if you keep it, if you add a little bit of water, it'll break up any large pieces of meat that might be that are in there. So I'm gonna mix that up and let that slowly go, breaking up any large lumps. Oops, I'm burning my bowl. Okay. And mixing that up. So while I'm waiting for that, I'm gonna take care of my garlic. So I've got 3 cloves of garlic. I'm gonna crush them. And you can add more if you want. I'm gonna keep going back in and giving this a good stir. So if you look, you're not actually sauteing anything. You are literally letting the broth do the work for you. This can be eaten cold at room temperature or hot, really up to you. And different people make it different ways. So if you talk about lao, there's lao larb too. And lao larb is different in the sense that they like putting offal inside, so innards. And so they'll maybe put in some, hold on. They'll add kidneys or liver, things like that to kind of build flavor on the lard. So I'm just gonna continue cooking this. Again, if you have a little bit of that liquid left, it's completely okay because that's just gonna provide more flavor to the whole dish. And you're gonna finish it off later with more liquid anyways. It's almost like a salad that can be eaten warm. So I'm gonna let that keep going, breaking up any large pieces, and then I'm gonna come back to my garlic and give it a good mince. And again, shallots is the other thing that we're gonna add in, but it's gonna be the last thing we add in. Give this, keep mincing it. So I'm gonna use chicken as my favorite. I use chicken because that's my favorite, but again, pork, beef is also a good one that you can do this with. And it's really refreshing in the summer if you eat it cold, because we're gonna add all these fresh veggies inside of it. All right. Keep going, break that up a little bit more. So if you can see, it's just coming together just like that. So now that that's good, all the meat has turned kind of opaque in color. We're gonna add everything else that we're gonna have in this wonderful dish. So we're gonna start by adding our shallots. So we got our shallots ready to go, about half a cup. I cheat. I buy French shallots most of the time. You can use whatever shallots. I just use French shallots because French shallots are larger. And so they kind of, they're larger, sorry. French shallots are larger, so they almost go a little bit further. You don't have to peel as many things, I guess is the best way to explain it. But the flavor isn't as concentrated as the small Thai or Vietnamese ones you would normally get. All right. And then I'm gonna add my garlic too. It's a lot of garlic, I know, that's okay. This has a lot of flavor in it. And then I've got my palm sugar, and I'll show you, we're gonna use palm sugar again for the papaya salad. So we're gonna add that in, and our fish sauce. So I'm adding the full amount of fish sauce. You can add however much you want. You can even start with a little less, but again, really up to you with fish sauce, how much you wanna add. And then I'm gonna add my chili flakes, going in and again, just breaking up any large lumps that you might have. Chili flakes next. And you can make it spicier too if you want. And then I'm gonna let that simmer for a little bit. While it's simmering, I'm gonna take care of all my fresh herbs. So I've got mint that I'm gonna add in there. So I'm gonna pull some mint leaves. So spearmint, whatever mint you have lying around. And if you don't have mint, start growing your own. The way that you grow it is you buy mint one time, and then you find the top and you pull the leaves down. So you're left with just the top portion, and then you can plant that. The way to plant it though is to let it sit in water for about a week or two until you get roots that are about 1 inch to 2 inches. Once you get those roots established, then you can plant it. I'm gonna add a lot of mint because I like a lot of mint in this. I'm gonna grab all my leaves up, nothing too pretty, and then I'm just gonna go forward and chop. And then cilantro too. And I did, so I'm gonna add a little handful of cilantro. And again, using the stems. The stems really give it a nice crunch and can really brighten up the dish. So I'm just combining these two fresh herbs now and chopping it up. I'm looking over every once in a while. So I've got a couple more things that we need to add. The lime juice, the roasted rice powder, and then these fresh herbs. So once the stock or veggie broth or whatever it is that you're using is pretty much gone, still with a little bit, not completely gone, but just a little bit, maybe by half, you're good to go. I'm gonna turn it off, just like that. And then I'm gonna add all my fresh spices, just like that. I'm gonna add my toasted rice powder. And then finish off with fresh lime juice. So this is the most important part. This brightens up the dish. So if you're not gonna serve this right away, don't add your lime juice until you're ready to serve it, just because it'll kind of evaporate and taste kind of bland after a while. It won't have that nice lemon flavor. I'm gonna add that all, mix it up, and then you're gonna taste it and see what it is that you might need, whether it be sugar more acid, or more fish sauce. And that's it, that's lard. And the way that you serve this is you eat it with cabbage. Or you can use lettuce too, either or. So you can grab a lettuce leaf, just like that, or cabbage leaf, sorry, this is a cabbage leaf. And then you're gonna put the filling right in the middle, roll it up, and give it a good bite. And that's it. So that's lard. And if you've never made that before, it's one of my favorite things. All right, so the next dish is one that I feel like a lot of people want to make at home, and they go out and eat it a lot, and they really just want to make it at home because it's so much healthier to eat it at home. The problem with it is, where do you find a lot of these ingredients? And so I went ahead and bought things so that you could see. Hold on one sec, because you probably don't know what you're looking for. If some Vietnamese supermarkets, when you go into them, they'll have a section with pickled goods. And then on the side, there's gonna be pre-shredded carrots and pre-shredded papaya. And pre-shredded papaya kind of looks like that. I'm not using pre-shredded, I shredded this on my own. I'm gonna show you how you do that too. But in the store, what you're looking for is the guy that looks like this. So that's what he looks like. It's a green papaya. So if you let this sit, it'll turn orange on you. So when you're buying it, you want something that's pretty firm. If you go to Thai supermarkets, they'll actually wrap each one in almost like a paper to protect them. And so you want these green. And that means that it's not sweet. It's kind of tart and it's kind of crunchy. So the way that you take care of it is you peel it, and then I cut it in half. So you peeled it, so you take out the skin, and then the inside looks like that. And you've got all these little papaya seeds. Go ahead and go out and dig out those papaya seeds, which I'll do right now. And then you grab yourself your box grater, or if you have this lying around at home, which I don't think most people do, but this is specifically for something like this. So this side, that side peels it for you, and then that side shreds it for you. So you can go in and you can shred it, just like that. You can collect it, or your good old box grater, this side, so like the big side, and you're gonna go in and grate, okay? So that's what you can do, and then you've got this papaya. Let me give you a little bit of warning first. I don't know what it is. I probably should have done the research before I started this class, I'm sure. Papaya, especially green papaya, there's enzymes in it that will kind of almost make your hands itchy or sticky. It might be because it's an allergic reaction, but just when you're doing this, I like to tell people to wear gloves. It just prevents. Sometimes people will get red palms from doing this. And so just be careful. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that you might be a little bit sensitive to it. All right, so I've got my shredded papaya ready to go. And then you get to do something fun. If I've ever, I don't tell people to buy a lot of things, but I will tell people to do this, a mortar and pestle. If you don't have one lying around, I know this is a Mexican one, go buy yourself a mortar and pestle. It just makes things taste different. You can do this in the food processor. There is nothing wrong with that. The thing is though, I've done it both ways and there is a difference in flavor. So if you really want that true authentic flavor, it's the way that a mortar and pestle bruises and extracts flavors from these ingredients that makes it taste so good. So we're actually gonna make it all in here. So if you do this in Thailand, you'll see they'll have this huge mortar and pestle, huge. And they'll mortar and pestle everything, including the papaya. We're gonna do it in batches. And so if you're doing this at home, do it in batches then, and then it'll taste good. It'll taste really amazing. So the main things that go in here, cherry tomatoes. And if it helps, cut some of the things up so that your mortar and pestle doesn't have to do too much work. But you don't want it completely chopped. And at the end of the day, if you get really lazy, go for it. Grab your food processor and just use that. But I just want, if you have a mortar and pestle lying around, try it once. All right, so then I put my Thai chili peppers in there. And then I've got palm sugar. Again, ready to go. And that's gonna go in too. And then I've got lime juice and the main ingredient, one clove of garlic. And I'm gonna give that a mash first just to make it easier to crush up in there. I'm gonna add that in there. And then we've got dried shrimp. These are huge, if you can tell, compared to regular dried shrimp. These cost probably double the amount of money. The reason being that they are bigger, they carry the shrimp flavor more. This is our salt. These are like little salt bombs. The larger they are though, the less salty they are. So I like buying the large ones, but you can go ahead and use the small ones if you want, but I'm gonna add that inside as well. I've got a little bit of peanuts. And then I've got green beans. You don't have to use the long ones. You can use these guys too. And well, I'm just gonna trim off the edges, just like that. And then a little bit more, just cut them into chunks so that it's easier again to mortar and pestle. And then I'm gonna add lime juice. So I'm gonna add lime juice and fish sauce. Both of those things will help us kind of break up everything in there. So I'm gonna take off my end. I'm rolling my limes around. They're a little tough. If you have a lime that just doesn't seem to have much juice in it, don't worry, put it in your microwave, 30-second intervals. So I'm gonna add half of it. We're gonna add a lot of lime juice, but you can hold off on the lime juice until the end. I'm just adding enough liquid. Ooh, I'm just adding enough liquid in here so that I can mortar and pestle it. All right, and then a little bit of fish sauce. not a little, but 1 to 2 tablespoons. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to mortar and pestle it. There it is. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to mash. And the main thing that I think makes this dish taste is, woo, and you're going to have splashes. That's why their mortar and pestles are bigger, but you don't have to get them that big because you can use this for a lot of different things. But the main thing is the way that it bruises the tomato almost. It's a good workout too. And you can pound at it, you can mix it up. The tomatoes kind of just squish around, whoop, like that. But they provide such a great tartness and sweetness to the dish that it just makes everything taste great. And then the lime juice at the end too. So that's it. If you look, it's not that mashed up. It's just kind of releasing all the juices that might be within the food. I'm going to mash that up a little bit more. Sorry for those who are trying to get in and having difficulty today. We're trying a new system where we have to go online now and have you guys all register. All right, so that's good. Now I'm not going to add all of my papaya. I'm just going to add some of my papaya. And that way I get the majority of it with the flavor, but I'm going to mix it all together later on. Once you start adding the papaya, you can really go in there and squish it around. Well, that's going to provide all that flavor that you need and all that greatness. I'm going to actually serve it out of this mortar and pestle. So I'm going to put it back in my mortar and pestle, grab a spoon, and give it a good mix. And again, like I said, if you had a bigger mortar and pestle, you can do it all together, or you can slowly do it just like this. And this is served with sticky rice, as well as the sticky jasmine rice that I showed you earlier, as well as the cabbage. Oops. Add a little bit more of that, and a little bit more fish sauce. And that's it. And you can make those same kind of rolls. And you can add some cilantro into there as well, which I will do right now. So I got a little bit. And if you're like my husband who doesn't like these shrimp, if you keep them large, you can pick them out then. So it's nice that way. So I'm going to garnish this with a little bit of extra cilantro. And again, you can mortar and pestle the cilantro too, because it's almost making a Thai green curry then. That is how you make Thai green curry. Not chopped, not really caring about how big or small things are, because everything's going to get mixed in together anyways. But let that sit, and you can enjoy that later on. All right, so there's that, ready to go. And I'm going to show you, I made sticky rice to serve with everything, and sticky rice usually takes a day because you need to let it soak. But again, I am showing you the wonders of the Instant Pot. So I made 1 cup of sticky rice in half an hour. So just like that. I know you guys can't see that very well. But if you're ever interested, this is sticky rice. It's ready to go. But if you wanted to make it coconut sticky rice, all you do is you take a little bit of sugar and coconut milk, mix it in, and then you've got coconut sticky rice that you would serve with mango. But this is just, it comes off just like that. And you would serve it with both the larb and the papaya salad. So hopefully you guys learned something new today. These are always fun. I love the Asian cuisine. Next week, I'm going to be doing Korean. So I'm going to be showing you how to make crispy kimchi pancakes, as well as bibimbap at home. So all the components that go with bibimbap, as much as you can buy them, you can make them at home too. And it's great meal prep kind of knowledge that you can have then. So come back and enjoy. We're updating our website so that all the recipes are going to be on there. So it's easier to find. And let us know what else you would like to see. I see myself doing this for a little bit of time. So hopefully you guys come back next week and I'll see you later. Thank you. Bye.